throw everything you've got at him.
Are they going to arrest you?
It's not the police I'm worried about. The people that are doing.
Shelter opens with a world teetering on the edge of chaos, presenting an environment where survival, trust, and human connection are constantly tested. From the very first scenes, the film immerses viewers into a tense atmosphere where every decision can mean life or death. The story begins with the central character, Dr. Lena Carter, a crisis response specialist, arriving at a city recently struck by a mysterious disaster. The streets are eerily quiet, buildings bear the scars of devastation, and an unsettling stillness pervades the air. This opening establishes a tone of suspense, urgency, and careful observation, immediately signaling that the film is as much about human resilience as it is about external threats. Lena is portrayed as both highly skilled and deeply empathetic, someone who has faced high-stakes situations before but is haunted by personal loss. Her experience in managing crises makes her confident and strategic. Yet the disaster she encounters in Shelter is unlike anything she has faced. Her primary objective is to locate survivors and provide protection, while navigating an environment where danger lurks in every shadow. The film uses her perspective to explore both practical survival tactics and the emotional toll of life-threatening uncertainty. Making Lena's journey relatable and compelling, the supporting characters aboard the Shelter Initiative form a microcosm of humanity under stress. There is Marcus, a former firefighter whose instinct for action is tempered by his lingering guilt over past failures. Sophia, a young medic whose optimism and determination provide hope in dire circumstances. And David, a skeptical engineer who initially prioritizes logic over emotion but gradually learns the importance of cooperation and trust. Each character has distinct motivations, fears, and strengths, ensuring that interpersonal dynamics remain a central element of the story. Through their interactions, the film examines themes of leadership, loyalty, and the tension between self-preservation and altruism. Conflict arises not only from environmental hazards but also from human behavior under pressure. Panic, fear, and desperation quickly surface among those seeking shelter, revealing the fragility of social cohesion when resources are scarce. Shelter emphasizes that survival is rarely just about evading physical threats. It also requires psychology, navigating tension, and making ethical choices. Characters must weigh immediate needs against long-term consequences, with each decision highlighting moral ambiguity in high-stakes conditions. The disaster itself is depicted with meticulous attention to detail, blending realistic environmental challenges with cinematic intensity. Collapsing buildings, blocked roads, and unexpected hazards force the characters into inventive problem-solving. Trapped in confined spaces and constantly shifting landscapes, the survivors must adapt to changing conditions, reflecting the film's central theme that flexibility, ingenuity, and resilience are crucial to enduring catastrophic events. The cinematography emphasizes both the scale of destruction and the intimacy of personal struggle, alternating between sweeping visuals of chaos and close-ups of human expression to maintain emotional engagement. Throughout the film, Lena's leadership is tested repeatedly. She must make rapid assessments of risk, mediate conflicts between survivors, and devise escape strategies that balance safety with urgency. The narrative illustrates how crisis situations magnify human qualities. Courage becomes visible in unexpected moments. Selfishness appears as instinctive, and compassion emerges as a deliberate choice rather than default behavior. Lena's ability to inspire trust and coordinate action is central to the plot, positioning her as a moral anchor while emphasizing the collaborative nature of survival. Tension is heightened by a secondary threat, an unknown, unpredictable force that complicates evacuation efforts and raises stakes to life-or-death levels. Unlike the disaster itself, this element is mysterious and dynamic, keeping both characters and viewers uncertain about its motives and limits. Its presence forces the group to adapt continuously, reinforcing themes of vigilance, strategy, and emotional endurance. The film carefully balances action-driven sequences with quieter moments of introspection, Allowing audiences to connect with the human dimension of crisis. Character development is a key strength of Shelter. Lena's initial pragmatic focus gradually expands to include empathy and emotional leadership. Marcus confronts his past regrets and finds redemption through selfless action. Sophia's optimism proves instrumental in maintaining morale, while David's journey illustrates the evolution from analytical detachment to moral engagement. Interpersonal relationships are tested and strengthened through adversity, with alliances, betrayals, and reconciliations all contributing to a sense of realism and depth. A particularly memorable sequence involves the survivors navigating a collapsed underground passage, where physical and emotional tension peak simultaneously. Here, the characters must rely on one another completely, with missteps carrying immediate consequences. The cinematography enhances this intensity using tight framing, dim lighting, and sudden shifts in perspective to immerse the audience fully in the danger and uncertainty. These scenes demonstrate how environment, risk, and human response intersect, reinforcing the film's overarching themes. The psychological dimension of the story is consistently explored. The film delves into fear, grief, and hope, showing how prolonged exposure to danger alters decision-making and human behavior. Survivors experience moments of despair, heightened anxiety, and moral questioning, but also resilience, ingenuity, and connection. Shelter emphasizes that trauma is not merely an obstacle, but a catalyst for growth, allowing characters to discover strengths and vulnerabilities that were previously dormant. Themes of trust and communication recur throughout the narrative. Misunderstandings and misjudgments heighten risk, while collaboration and clear communication often make the difference between survival and tragedy. The film illustrates how leadership is not just about command, but about listening, empathy, and the ability to inspire cooperation under pressure. This thematic thread elevates Shelter from a standard disaster story to a nuanced exploration of human dynamics under extreme conditions. Romantic and familial elements provide additional emotional resonance. Subplots involving siblings, young couples, and estranged partners illustrate how crisis situations accelerate intimacy, reveal underlying tensions, and highlight the enduring power of love and care. These interpersonal arcs are woven organically into the central survival narrative, ensuring that emotional stakes are as compelling as physical ones. The result is a multi-layered story that blends suspense, drama, and character-driven storytelling. The film's climax converges multiple threads of tension, environmental hazards, interpersonal conflict, and the mysterious threat all collide, demanding swift judgment, bravery, and collaboration. The survivors face a critical decision point, and the outcomes of their choices underscore the film's message about morality, sacrifice, and resilience. In this sequence, individual heroism is depicted realistically, highlighting courage that emerges from necessity rather than idealism. Visual storytelling, including strategic use of lighting, perspective, and pacing, intensifies the drama without overshadowing character development. Resolution in Shelter is thoughtful and emotionally satisfying. Immediate dangers are mitigated, but the story does not rely on simplistic conclusions. Survivors emerge changed, carrying the psychological and emotional weight of their experiences. Lena reflects on the balance between human fragility and strength, acknowledging the ethical challenges inherent in survival scenarios. The narrative reinforces that recovery and healing are ongoing processes, and that true courage often lies in confronting the consequences of one's choices and supporting others through adversity. Sound design plays a vital role, combining natural disaster effects, crashing debris, shifting structures with subtle musical cues that enhance suspense and emotional resonance. Silence is employed strategically, amplifying tension during key moments of decision or reflection. Audio is used not only to immerse viewers but to underscore thematic content, highlighting the fragility of human life and the persistent need for connection, trust, and awareness. The film also explores the socio-political dimension of disaster response. Interactions with authorities, resource allocation, and group dynamics illustrate the broader challenges inherent in crisis management. By situating the personal drama of the characters within a larger context, Shelter encourages audiences to consider both micro and macro level consequences of disaster and human behavior. This layered storytelling adds depth and realism to the narrative, making it both engaging and thought-provoking throughout the film. Suspense is carefully maintained without relying on gratuitous violence or sensationalism. The story prioritizes tension derived from uncertainty, ethical dilemmas, and human vulnerability, ensuring that stakes feel authentic and consequences are meaningful. Moments of relief and hope are interspersed to provide emotional rhythm, balancing fear with compassion and reinforcing the human capacity to persevere under adversity. The narrative structure emphasizes both progression and reflection. Scenes build sequentially toward climactic events while also allowing for moments of introspection. Dialogue and moral consideration.